Hey yo Hylians, my name is Ty Cholera and you are watching Hyrule Warriors Definitive Edition. Last time on our adventure, we met an interesting character in the Sheikah tribesmen in the Elden Caves. And this time, we'll be seeing exactly what they can do for us in the next chapter of the story, the Sorceress of the Woods, in the Faron Woods. That makes about as much sense as anything else in this game. Actually, it makes perfect sense. I'm not sure why I'm surprised. Real fast, we're gonna head on in and craft as many of these for Sheik as I can. I can't do a whole lot of them. Oh yes, and this one is for Link and the new magic rod, the fire rod that we got before. We will not be using the fire rod today because I want to show off Sheik. But just know that is, something that you are more than allowed to take care to do. In fact, it's actually going to recommend it. So this is an interesting mechanic where in every mission there will be a recommended element, or not every mission, but in many of the missions there will be a recommended element. And if you choose to use that element, then you, I think, get it does extra damage against just all enemies. I think. I might be wrong about that. I'll have to double check that and have post-editing Ty put up what it actually does. But I think it does extra damage on missions where you use the recommended element. However, we are not going to be using the recommended element. We are going to be using Sheik.
Sheik's harp is a light-based weapon that relies on quick, wide movements as well as a unique harp mechanic to set it apart from every other weapon in the game. Right off the bat, Sheik makes a great first impression with her standard combo string. The entire string is incredibly fast, incredibly wide, and it allows her to move around a lot. This is a remarkable crowd clearer, allowing her to safely take out any and all enemies around her in a quick and flashy manner. While at first glance, Sheik's heavy attack seems incredibly underwhelming, this move will serve as the basis for the mechanic that will prove to be incredibly useful later on. We'll get back to this later. Sheik's first combo simply launches a single pillar of water forward, carrying away all enemies and inflicting the water status. Upon doing this combo, and any other combos in her kit, you'll notice a small symbol appear under your special meter. If you perform your heavy attack with one of these symbols active, they will create a variety of different effects depending on the symbol. With the water symbol active, heavy attack surrounds Sheik with a spiral of water. The effect will protect Sheik for up to 4 hearts of damage, effectively making her invincible for a limited time. This is incredibly useful as it is quick and easy to set up, so there is no reason why you shouldn't have this active at all times. Sheik's second combo has her dropping a large meteor directly in front of her and putting a fire symbol in the top corner. Pressing heavy attack with this symbol summons a ring of fire that causes no damage but explodes shortly after. This move is one of the best giant boss killers in the game and should be used regularly in that scenario, but otherwise has fairly limited uses. Sheik's third combo launches out a fairly wide burst of lightning shortly in front of her. Her heavy attack surrounds her with a ring of lightning for a short amount of time. This is probably the worst effect, as it pushes enemies away just out of reach of most of your other attacks, which is really only useful to get unwanted enemies away, making it incredibly situational. Her fourth combo has her leap into the air and strike down in a fairly high damaging attack. After the shadow heavy attack, a vortex is created in front of her, pulling enemies in and dealing constant damage. This is a great option for starting attacks on single targets, as it will pin them in place and drop their shields, allowing you to start hitting them without fail. Sheik's final combo is nothing more than a huge AoE blast that does considerable damage. Upon a press of the heavy attack, a large glowing square appears on the ground. This does not deal damage, but instead charges Sheik's special gauge as long as she stands in it. The square will last long enough to fill Sheik's entire special gauge in just one use, even if you've maxed out her gauge through badges. Overall, Sheik's quick movement, wide attacks, and unique mechanics truly set her apart from every other warrior in the game. Her ability to become invincible and add several other effects to herself while also being such a great crowd clearer makes her by far one of the best characters to use.
Link and his allies were saved from the dangers of the Elden Caves, by a mysterious youth named Sheik. Joined by their new ally, Impa's troops exited the caves and emerged in Faron Woods. There, they found a hidden village overrun with monsters. While Link and Impa wanted to continue their search for Zelda, they could not ignore the plight of the villagers. Without hesitation, they sprang into battle.
Alright, and as you guys saw, Sheik is definitely one of my favorite characters in the game. I mentioned it many times before, as well as in our Weapon of the Day segment just now, so very, very excited to jump on into this one, but we have a cutscene first. You. Are you the one leading these warriors? Yes, I am. You can use magic. Where did you learn your craft? Oh, well, I'm a sorceress. You know the one who started this war? Sia? We come from the same magical clan. Ah, well, that explains it. And what does this Sia want from Hyrule? You really want to know? Well, help me defend the forest. If you do that, I might tell you. Alright, so it looks like we gotta help defend the forest and stuff. Yay, we leveled up! Alright! Works for me! So there's going to be something that's going to pop up here in a second that's going to severely restrict us. So we're going to have to take care of... Ah! He spawned right on top of us! So yes, these Deku Babas, we cannot deal with them as we are right now. We need something... they're going to talk about it in the bottom right corner. There's something that we're going to need in order to take care of those Deku Babas. I should be taking my own advice and putting up the shield now that I think about it. Here, let me just kill you real fast. Missed, sucker! So yeah, these Deku Babas, you can't kill them through any normal attacks. And their barrier, their poison barrier or whatever, will prevent you from getting close to them. So there's not really anything that we can do to them right now. We need to find... an item, and Lana is specifically mentioning there's a bow and arrow somewhere in the settlement. So we need to go ahead and find that. Luckily for you all, I know exactly where it is, and I will take you right there as soon as I capture this keep, just for the heck of it. We gotta go up around this way. And you may notice on the map, there is this kind of little hidden pathway around the back. If you come back here, you will find a special treasure chest. And inside, the bow and arrows. As per usual, this is just another item similar to the bombs. One thing that I didn't really mention is that items in combat themselves are not actually all that useful. I would say maybe the bombs have incredibly situational uses, but unless it specifically says you need to use arrows, you need to use bombs, I wouldn't really try to use them in regular combat all that much. They put you in you'll notice they put you in a dead stop. They're not incredibly effective at damaging enemies. And they're just overall just not great to use in combat, so I would avoid it when possible. With that being said, however, we're just going to kind of run around here and take care of all of these Deku Babas. If you, as long as you're targeting the specific enemy, you have no possible chance of missing. The exception to the rule is the bombs. Which kind of go in like a weird arc, so you need to be a little bit further back if you're going to use bombs on your enemies. Otherwise, they'll just go right over them and miss that way. So just kind of keep in mind there is an exception to the rule. Oh, actually, this is a good time to possibly talk about these guys right here. These are Redeads, or I can't remember if they called them Redeads or Gibdos in this one. I think they actually might call them Gibdos in this game. What they do is they do this little thing that will that basically if you get caught in that like aura attack, you'll be frozen in place for a short period of time. However, one thing that really makes Sheik absolutely amazing, if you have the water shield active, you are immune to that effect. So you will not be frozen by a Redead. I'm just going to call them Redeads until I actually know exactly what they're called. But yeah, you will not be frozen by a Redead's, I guess, I don't exactly know what you would call the attack, because it's different in, like, every game that Redeads appear in. Sometimes it's called the Redead Gaze, or like a Scream, or... Oh, they're Gibdos. Looks like they're Gibdos. Ha ha ha. Oh, and we have a Skulltula. Hang on, let me go grab him real fast. Because we don't want to lose that. I know exactly where he is on this map. This one's pretty memorable. He is right underneath... Oops. Right underneath this boulder right here. Got him. Alright. I'm going to switch back to my arrows real fast. And we're supposed to meet Lana in the center area, but first we need to defeat like the approaching Gibdo forces or whatever. We also will eventually need to meet Lana in the center tree. So just keep that in mind, that's kind of where we're going right now. And I want one of you to pull up. Yeah, there it is. So that special attack will here's what he's going to do. So that will freeze you in place under normal circumstances for a short period of time. However, because we are Sheik and we have the special effect on us, that is not a problem for us. I'm just going to let him kill his buddies there, and that should be the end of that one. We're going to finish this one off real fast. Another thing is that Gibdos are also incapable of putting up shields. However, they do not flinch. Or most of the time they don't. I mean, they do sometimes if you hit them with a strong enough attack, but for the most part, Gibdos will basically super armor through most of your attacks. I'm going to switch to Link real fast because he's right next to the other ones. One thing that I should note is while we are able to play as Link in this mission, you can only choose one of your character's weapons at any given time. And I wanted to choose... oh goodness, that's the... I wanted to choose Sheik specifically, so I could have gone with Link's Fire Rod, and then... Oh, see, this is what happens when you don't have that effect, is you freeze in place and you're vulnerable to other attacks, and that move is annoying. But I specifically chose Sheik for a reason. We will be going over Link's Fire Rod eventually. Don't worry. I do have a plan for when I'm showing everything off. So, just hold off on that. If you want to, what you can do is if you want to play every character, you can pick Sheik, or you can pick Link during this chapter and pick the Fire Rod. And then switch to, just switch to Sheik, because they're all three characters that we've played as so far are playable in this particular chapter. So just keep that in mind. This is something kind of fun to talk about. This chest here in the Great Deku Tree. For one, this is only available in Hyrule Warriors Legends or in the Switch version of the game. However, there's something kind of interesting about this chest. You are required to open this chest up in order to progress the story. However, you don't have to open it up. You open that chest whenever you want to. So what that means is the story will not progress until you open the chest. But you can freely run around this map, clearing out as many enemies as you want to, without having to worry about running out of time or new enemies appearing, because the story won't permit them to during this scripted segment. This is only available once per playthrough of the game, because even if you replay this mission, that chest will not be will be a little bit different and will not be required to progress through the mission anymore, because that contains a certain item in it that that we'll already have in future playthroughs of the mission. So you can only do this once per playthrough. So I like to do it whenever I. So I mean, meaning I've only really done it like, you know, twice. Once for my own personal playthrough and once for twice in both my own personal playthroughs. This would be my third time doing it. But yeah, you can just ignore the chest, clear out all the enemies on the map if you so desire, or at least all the ones that you currently have access to, and then you go and grab the chest, and there's nothing that the game will do about it. It'll just kind of let you do it. So I'm gonna run up, clear out most of the enemies up at the top there, and then we'll go back and grab that chest, because that's fun. That's the fun way of doing things. But yeah, so if you want to, you can. And again, this is only available in the 3DS or the Switch version of the game, Legends or the Definitive Edition, because the item that is inside of that chest was not in the Wii U version. So just keep that in mind. There is, you'll notice up in the upper right corner of the map, if you're looking up there, there's a captain marker, which is the thicker red dots, the more opaque red dots, I suppose. There's a captain up there. We're going to be ignoring him because they are that particular character, captain, is actually story relevant later. And if you kill him now, you totally can kill them now, and kind of just breeze through the story. But we're gonna leave him alive for, you know, story purposes. For the most part, these are all the enemies we're going to take care of right now. I'll just run back. I just kind of wanted to point out that is something you can do. You'll notice the story is not progressing without us. We do need to go and grab that chest first. So let's go ahead and do that right now. Opening the chest. You got an ocarina. Now you can warp to any activated owl statues. So, like I said, this is a feature that is exclusive to the 3DS and the Wii and the Switch version of the game. These owl statues will not appear on the Wii U version, but essentially what you can do is, I'll just to demonstrate it real fast, is by playing the ocarina at any time, you can immediately warp back in front of any owl statue. This is a sort of fast travel system that will take you all the way across a map if you have activated owl statues. You have to activate the statues manually, but once they're activated, they'll stay activated through the entire mission. Owl statues are mission specific, so where they might be in one mission, even if it's on the same map, they might not be in the next mission. So don't think that owl statues are permanent every time. You can't like warp behind enemy lines and stuff. You have to get there yourself first. But it is a pretty great tool during a lot of earlier missions. It is just a great tool during a lot of missions, especially in like really windy and expansive paths where it might be harder to access certain areas. Or say you have a giant boss appearing at a certain point in the map and you need to go and take care of it like immediately, then you can they'll warp back and you can warp back and forth across the map. It's a very useful mechanic. So yeah, yet another reason why I would recommend Legends over the Wii U version, because it has this fast travel mechanic. Right now, the Deku Tree is on fire, but we need to. There's also a number of Gibdos that are going to be advancing onto the location of the Great Deku Tree. The Great Deku Tree is currently our base, So if we lose the base, that is also considered a mission failure. So we need to make sure that the Great Deku Tree does not go up in flames. And it's telling us to search in the northwest, which is kind of why I left that section ambiguous, because there is something up in the northwest. I'm going to take care of these Gibdos first. Because we cleared out the majority of the map beforehand, the Great Deku Tree is pretty much, it's more or less fine. The fire will slowly bring its total health damage, health down, but it's fine. I've never actually had a problem with it before, and I've played this mission numerous times, so it's not that big of a deal. I wouldn't worry too much about it. If you're really scared about it, definitely go take care of the story first, but I'm honestly more worried about the Gibdos than I am the fire. You can see, like, it hasn't even lost any health yet. So I'm just gonna kill these guys real fast. Haha, you can't do anything to me because I am Sheik and I am amazing. It's good. We're taking too long, so it's specifically going to mark our destination on the map, the fairy fountain up there in the northwestern corner. Which we are going to another fairy fountain, so that's fun. He's gonna do his thing. And we actually have Link over there right now, so I'm just going to have him grab this keep really fast. Kaboom. And then we'll have him run up there and grab that. This is the captain who I specifically mentioned that we were going to save, this Gibdo right here. The door to the Great Fairy Fountain... Oh, my bad. The door to the Great Fairy Fountain will not open until this captain is defeated. So that's why I specifically... Because if you kill him right away, then the door will just open. Which is great, but it kind of defeats the purpose of the whole thing. So, I did leave that just for the sake of leaving it. We're waiting for the thing to go. Alright, now we can enter the Great Fairy Fountain. Oh. You. I'll be going over Cuckoos another time. Not right now, though. Hello there, Great Fairy. Interestingly enough, these are pre-rendered cutscenes. So in the 3DS version, these are some of the best looking cutscenes in the game. The 3DS version does utilize the pre-rendered cutscenes, but any in-engine cutscenes, such as character intros and victory screens, they will continue to be in-engine, so they obviously won't look nearly as good, but these ones typically do. Bumped my mic there. Oops. These ones typically do look pretty good, even in the 3DS version, just since they're using the pre-rendered cutscenes there. The power of the magic circle put out the fire of the Deku Tree. So that is the Great Deku Tree. I mean, it's now safe, so we don't have to worry about that. This bottom keep is now open, so I'm gonna go and grab that. One thing that I didn't mention in the Weapon of the Day segment is that the water barrier will go away when you switch characters. Luckily, it's not like that's a hard thing to put back up, so don't worry too much about it. But that is just something to keep in mind, that will go away if you decide to switch characters at any point. And you'll have to set it up again. But alright, so our current destination is to defeat Wizrow once again. We ran into him in the Elden Caves, and I mentioned he was particularly annoying to fight, so that's always exciting. Treasure may be located in the North Square. Oh yeah, I didn't even look for our heart pieces or heart containers yet. Haha! I knew that. We can't go up there. We need a certain item for that. We will grab the heart piece and heart containers, don't worry. The heart piece is up here in the North Square, which is why it said the treasure will be might be located in there. And Impa, you're continuing the story without me, and I'm not sure how I feel about it. Impa just ran into the keep where Wizrow was hiding, and that triggered the next section of the story. So he actually fled and summoned this. the next giant boss in our repertoire, the arthropod cyclops monster, Goma. We're gonna be taking care of Goma in just a minute because right now it's not that big of a deal. We can kind of ignore it for now. This is an Impa heart piece. One thing that I have yet to mention is that certain heart pieces and heart containers are specific to particular warriors. So if you're not playing as particular warriors, when you find the keep with the when you find the chest, then you will be unable to open them. You'll be unable to access them. So I'm going to grab this with Impa. She's going to go ahead and pick it up. Perfect. And I actually think I remember where my the heart container is as well. And Link did not need that magic. Yeah, if I'm remembering right, I know where the heart container is as well. Goma's actually going to leave the map for a minute. She's going to hop down inside the Great Deku Tree. This is when it becomes a bit of an issue with the base and everything, but hopefully we'll be okay. I'm going to take care of these Keep Saboteurs real fast and grab the heart container. The Keep Saboteurs are actually dangerous. They're actually pretty big threats to your keeps, so you want to take care of them pretty quick. Otherwise, things get pretty nasty. But they're just redeads. We've seen them before. It's not like they're incredibly dangerous. So we're going to go ahead and take them out. There's a few more heading south. I'm going to have Link go and take care of them, and I'm gonna have Impa go to Goma, just to kind of watch them and make sure that things don't get too out of hand. And if they do, then I can just go there myself. You can also warp to the Great Deku Tree now with the Ocarina, so that's, you know, a useful mechanic there. I'm gonna head to grab the heart piece real fast, and Link is currently at his destination. Actually, I think this heart piece might be for Link, or this heart container. At least I'm pretty sure it's down here. Yeah. Oops. Arrows do not destroy rocks. Nope, it is for Sheik. Okay, we're cool. I'm gonna skip that because we've seen Sheik's chest opening animation and stuff like that. I'm going to send Sheik over to Goma as well, and then I'm going to switch over to Link and take care of these Keep Saboteurs really fast here. All's well that ends well. I'm going to switch to Sheik myself. Let's move Link to go and target Goma as well. Perfect. Okay, now we have all of them on Goma, so they will go to Goma. And we are going to, in case it isn't obvious, because we got it in this chapter, Goma's item weakness is the bow. The attack that will allow you to use it is if she fires any lasers whatsoever, if Goma fires any lasers, then you will be able to shoot an arrow at her and cause some pretty decent damage. Basically, when the eye is blue, that's when you shoot. I'm gonna spawn that. I mentioned that these are one of the best boss killers in the game. Still holds true. Absolutely phenomenal. So always have one ready to go when fighting a giant boss as Sheik. And this is when things get interesting. Once she drops to about half health, Goma will just not use lasers, and you can't attack her unless she uses lasers. It's one serious issue with giant bosses in this game, in that once they're below half health, they just kind of stop using the attack that you need to defeat them. And it's kind of ridiculous, because you're just like, you need them to use certain attacks to fight them, but they just won't use those attacks. And what are you supposed to do about that? King Dodongo does it too, because the only attack... Are you kidding me? Are you kidding me? She's that much health left? Ah. But King Dodongo does it too, and we'll be meeting several other giant bosses that all do the same thing, and it's just one of those weird things that's just like, why is that a mechanic? But either way, we took care of her. Goma was defeated, and that is the end of the mission. So, yeah, I mean, that's it. It's a solid win for us. I hoped Zelda would be here. Apparently that hope was in vain. Where could she be? Is she safe? May the goddess protect her. Thanks, phone, for interrupting this sequence.
For generations, Hyruleans have told the tale of the war across the ages. This is how it begins. Deep in the forests, far from mortal eyes, a great sorceress watched over the balance of the Triforce. Through her magic, she could see across ages, able to read the fates of all who lived, but never interfering. That is, until a unique soul caught her attention. The soul of the hero of legend, eternally reborn when Hyrule's need is greatest. Through her powers, the sorceress should have seen that the hero was bound to another. Instead, she saw only a soul that was unlike any she had known. And while the sorceress was preoccupied, a fragment of darkness, locked in its prison, saw an opportunity. The whispering darkness wormed its way into her heart. It pushed the light away and warped her curiosity into a desperate desire to possess the legendary hero's soul. Of course, this evil had its own desires. To use the Triforce to resurrect itself and conquer Hyrule once again. Having pushed the light from her heart, the darkness compelled her to open the Gate of Souls, the doorway of time itself. Monsters from across the ages pour through the gate, bringing ruin to the land of Hyrule once more.
Alright, and there it is. There's our battle record, so to speak. We can get some new weapons and some weapons for characters we haven't met yet. Game, stop it! Stop it! We get some materials and our illustration piece. But that will be it, pretty much. So, we actually have a bit of a branching path for us now available. So, next time on Hyrule Warriors Definitive Edition, we'll be taking a small detour from the main story to learn a little bit about Linkle's tale in the Green Tunic. I'll see you guys again real soon, but until then, I bid you all a hearty farewell. Bye-bye.